everybody, and welcome back to another episode of your State of Loud. Here is your bestie, Mr. Chris Jeffrey, for you people out there. Back here another episode, and happy to be joined by the one and only, my producer, the man,
Yes.
Mr. AJX Beast, my guy.
Yes,
AJ, what's
sir.
going on, my guy? How we doing
what's,
this week?
what's going on, everybody? Hey, how's it going? Happy Black History Month. Right?
Yes.
We're still rolling. We're still
Yes, out of my way. It's Black History Month.
going. Exactly, man. Out of my way, man. But yeah, I'm doing good, man. I can't lie.
Good, man.
Week, good day.
Good is a good week. It is a good day.
Man.
What makes it good for you, though? I mean, I know it's a good week. What makes it good for you?
Just the experiences, just life, the flow of life, right? The ups, the downs, and just the positive energy that's been brought in, right? The I'm not only gonna say like the gigs, but just the new experiences.
Ooh,
right?
the new
Yeah,
experiences.
it's all dope, man. It's all dope, all of it.
Okay, all positive or all learning?
I would say all learning. I wouldn't say all positive.
Ooh,
let's be real. It's not all positive, but I would say it's definitely all learning. Right?
Mhm.
So
I dig that. I think that's a great way to be, where every single thing you're doing, you don't put a judgment on based of if it's good or bad or not.
Yeah.
I'm going through life. I'm experiencing this. The value in which this holds now may not be what I give it later.
Yeah.
I like it. There's plenty of stories out there. The guy about the farm and his son and the horse and the army and all that stuff. You guys have probably heard that story out there on the Instagram. But I'm not going to get into it tonight. But I don't know. This is going to be an interesting show. Tonight we got one thing that's been on my mind that I have wanted to discuss. And the topic is balance.
balance.
I don't know. I've been very busy lately, which many of us all have, and we're always presented with this word of balance when it comes to our lives. People say if you're going to work hard, you got to party hard. If you're going to do anything, make time for yourself as well. And I find it interesting because the actual work it takes to. Oh, we're good.
No, we're good.
Man, sorry, you gave a look. I was like, oh, we're good. But the time I think when it comes to balance, if you really look at how much time it takes to succeed in this world, my question is, what does that balance look like? Because balance for you may be different. I know balance for me is different. Like if I talk about my life, I work on average anywhere between a 12 to 16 hour day, 6 to 7 days a week, for months at a time. And usually I have to stop because my body and my brain are like, yo, we're done.
Slow
like
down.
you got to take a break before we burn out. And I don't want that to happen. I want to live a long time and have all my wits about me. So, I mean, this is where balance comes into an interesting play, right? So if we think of the average American person, like by numbers, I guess, and maybe it's different. I haven't lived this life, but I feel like people wake up, they get ready for work, they go to work, 8-hour day, sit in traffic, come home, maybe make some dinner, talk to the kids if you got them, scroll a little bit on the gram, eat the dinner, watch TV, watch your shows, maybe get ready for work the next day, take a shower, go to bed, and do it all over again. Is that what we call balance, though? Because I don't know. I don't know. I think the balance in which you seek comes from, what it is you want in life. Because I think the balance is going to be different based on where you're trying to go. If you want to be a marathon runner, a successful one, a competitive one, I don't feel like you're going to be able to have the same balance as somebody that's just looking to be comfortable. Right? I think to do great things, you have to really invest your time into it.
It's definitely going to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, and it does have to be uncomfortable. It's going to be uncomfortable for a while, right? I think they said, what is it, the 10,000 hour rule of putting in time to truly get good at something and to maximize your potential can gravely affect your regular life. Right? And I think if you really want to move fast, you need to put even more time in. Right?
That's where the balance comes in.
So let's explore that a little bit, right? Because you said that's where the balance comes in. What are the key attributes of balance? Like, is it being able to cover all bases in your life? And if that's true, what does it look like? I honestly just think it boils down to interpretation of what he wanted to be, right? Like, let's take some of the greats, for example. Kobe Bryant. He practiced what, twice as much as his counterparts at a young. I think as soon as he got into the league, he was like, "Oh, now I could dominate this. If you only waking up and working out 2 days a week, 2 times a day, and I'm doing 4 times a day, exponentially, I'm going to get so far ahead of you, you'll never be able to catch me." People said that was unrealistic. Kobe was different. Allen Iverson, I remember sharing a story with him about how Kobe wouldn't go out to the clubs and party. It's like he just didn't. That wasn't Kobe. And I remember his teammates saying that one night he was like, "Oh, I'm going to go out with y'all. But if I go out with y'all, y'all got to come practice with me." So he goes, they went out partying. He was doing shots with him. He drank. And he's like, we got in around 3 a.m. He said, 4:30, 5 o'clock, I'm banging on the door.
Wow.
Talking about, we went out and partying, did your thing. Now you're going to come and do mine. And he made him work out and put him through it. And he's like, I'm never going to do that again. But some people look at that as a non-balance piece. Yeah. So I guess this conversation is going to turn from understanding that balance, depending on what you do, is going to be different, right? Which I think is okay. I think we need to not shame people into not wanting the extremes of what they want to get into their life and more embrace where they're at. Again, our last show, we said humans are long-term investments. So when we look at this now, like, I think it boils down to what you really want. Because if whatever it is, you're going to invest time into it. And there's other pieces I want to do. So I want to start from there, right? Let's determine what it is someone may want and how much time you can dedicate to it to do it, right? So now it takes me to a whole nother realm of thought, right? Your balance is also going to be determined with where you are in your life. Think about it, right? If you're a 18-year-old college kid taking 12 credits, that's what, 4 classes. You got a part-time job on campus in a bookstore. So you probably have a good amount of your time to yourself. Your weekends are probably all yours. So you have a lot more free time to master something of a craft, right? If you're 30, let's say 33 years old, Jesus here, shout out to Jesus. 33 years old, Jesus here, and you're married with kids and a house and a mortgage, do you have that time to put in towards what you want to do? Now, what does that balance look like?
Yeah, because now you gotta cycle in between your kids or your craft, and you gotta find time to actually spend with your wife because they need that emotional time. And
my guy, you're not wrong.
It is balance, man, and wow, yeah, that's deep.
I think we don't look that far. I think we don't look into that, right? Yeah. I don't think we sit and we look into our lives to see what it is we want to do, where do we want to go, and how will our time look when we get there, when we're younger, right? Because when you're younger, your balance is completely different. I mean, in my 20s, it was work hard, play hard, grind out during the week on my job, and party on the weekends. And that really only changed for me when I got serious with music. That only changed when I got seriously into DJing. I would go to work during the day, and I would produce music at night and DJ at night. Every single night. There was no more television. There was no more, like, I watched TV because it was there. But, like, I was so locked in learning this and enjoying the journey that my hobby consumed all my free time, right? So this is where, and this is why I think it's funny.
Oh, it's going to go back to where we started.
Yeah,
knowing yourself.
It goes back at knowing yourself, absolutely, because when someone says to you, you need to find balance, it's interesting. It's almost like we say the things in which we're trying to build in our life they don't start in a sense of fun, right? Like most people, when you think about chasing your dreams, it starts with a hobby, it starts with a passion, it starts with something that's going to,
with you losing your job and losing everything for you to finally lock in.
I mean, is this a true story, AJ? At this point, I'm building my things in my life. I still have a job. I mean, but even so, with my job, it aligns with what I'm doing for myself. So, I mean, in the work I want to do. So it's literally. I do want to touch on that though, but I don't think leaving your job and quitting everything is a need. I think we tend to get there when we're not willing to let go of the comfort, and that will to succeed in our job goes away because we're so unhappy. Right? So I think Like, you have to have a purpose with every job you do. Either this is going to pay me money to pay my bills for the life I want, this is going to give me money to pay for my passion in which I want to build, or this is giving me experience that I can later use towards what I want to do. So when it comes to balance, like, no one starts in their field, right? Like, we have young people, right? Like Justin Bieber said he always wanted to be in music and all that stuff. Bow Wow was rapping since he was a young kid. You see sons of young stars, right?
Yeah.
But for most of us, we have to start at older age, and we mostly have to finance it as well. So that balance looks different because you have to kind of build your own safety net, right? Now, we live in a culture where the starving artist is a real thing. It's almost, I don't want to say praised, but it's almost like accepted as a part of the culture, right? And now we're driving down the deep end because it's interesting that we pay so little to artists as they're growing. And then once the masses see your beauty, then you're set. But during that process, that balance can look completely different.
Yeah.
So I guess it brings up the question, if what you're going after and grinding out for is something you love doing, is that out of balance?
Wow. Guess it depends.
Depends, right? Because
Depends on the person. It depends on circumstance.
yeah, because think about it, right? Like, if a kid, a kid wants to skateboard, and he's in the driveway every day after school for 4 or 5 hours, just practicing on a skateboard, and then out of nowhere, he gets good. He starts competing, start making a little bit of money, getting a magazine. Thrasher's hitting him up, right? He's getting a board. DGK, Dirty Ghetto Kids, big shout out. Got one of their boards. Does that change over from the hobby, the passion, the stress reliever to a job?
Wow. Yeah.
So is it no longer balanced right now? Does he need time away from that?
Wow. And that's something to think about, really.
That's my point, right? That's why, like, that's my point about the whole balance thing, right?
How would it be balanced in a sense of, like, I don't know. Wow. I'm trying to think of something around that now.
Think about it. Like, most of the quote unquote passionate jobs and projects we make are all based on things we love. And it's
only when I noticed that now. Okay, I see what you. Okay,
you get what I'm saying? Yeah. That's why, like, people are like, "Oh, you got to have balance in life, bro." If I love what I'm doing and it is my release and my break from the stress of the real world, and then I get to do that for a living,
full time
or full time.
There is no such thing as.
Do I need a break?
Do you need a break? Exactly.
I mean, of course, go live life, go see stuff, right?
Okay.
Like, of course, you're going to want to expand in life. It helps broaden your horizons, but can you consistently do it? Can you consistently do it? Like, in all honesty, because, like, I'll in my own personal experiences, I've had 9-to-5 jobs, which I was good at, but didn't really love. And then I came home to work on some more projects. And because I loved them, I didn't feel stressed out afterwards. Yeah. I'd stay up late and be tired the next day because I loved doing it. And I think that's where we tend to forget, once business gets involved, that the reason we got started is because it was a passion. Maybe it started as a hobby. Maybe it started out as something fun, but we kept going because we wanted to get better. We wanted to be better, to the point where we get to a level where we're so persistent that and what's the word I'm looking for? Proficient. Proficient. So you were consistent and got. Forget that. It's too many words, but it's been a long day. Yeah. But you get to the point where you master your skill and you can hone it in to really push it and make money, whether it be for entertainment, services towards others, or creating goods. Like, I think that's when it switches over. But at that point, for those that have been involved in it, and even myself, getting to the point where you're doing well in your passions, like, even just being at the beginning, like, I'm in the beginning of it. Like, just being able to be in the studio and filming you guys on these cameras and be able to have AJ here as my producer, like, this is the beginning of it. But even at this point, I'm more hungrier. Yeah. Like, I'm just hungry to be here. So what question to me is, like, balance. This is where I'm not against balance. I think you need breaks. I think you need to give your mind and your body time to rest. But I also think you have to do that with intent. because for me, resting is going to be something like a hobby for a long time. Like I ask you, like, what's something like you're getting right now? You're building, you're following in the media world. You're building your business in the media game and getting yourself out there. You're doing a lot of good stuff. We've had shared clients, ironically enough.
Mad ting,
mad things, bro. So what do you if you're not like, do you still look at the time going home and like in your free time? Are you still practicing? Are you still editing or still shooting?
100%. 100%. Yeah, I'm still locking in, still watching videos, right? Still talking to people that are actually doing it. So there really is. I'll look at it like this: like even when I'm not working, I'm working. So that's like a lot of people.
Even when I'm not working, I'm working.
Yeah. So like a lot of people will sit back and be like, "Oh, I'm off of work today," right? Mind you, I've been out of work for a very long. I don't mind sharing it because this is my journey. This is my origin story, right?
Yes, sir.
So I've been out of work for a very long time, but just because the job that I was working at, you know, which was giving me a check, right? It was paying me, but it's not like I wasn't working because I wasn't clocking in, right?
Oh, say that again. It wasn't that I wasn't working because I wasn't clocking in.
Yeah, I was working while I was working there, you know? So,
so I mean but that's to a point, right? Like the work you put in doesn't necessarily have to be for a 9-to-5 job. The work you put into your craft is equally valuable. The only difference is the return you're going to get doesn't come for a little while. It's more of a delayed gratification, where a 9-to-5 may be an instant gratification.
And it's gonna be hard. Trust me. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be those, like you. I know we brought it up the last convo we had, but those late nights, man. You're gonna be working some nights. You're gonna be up late trying to figure it out. Like, how do I do this? How can I expand on this amount of capital? How can I talk to this client and actually bring them on board? You know, so it's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into like just creating and building on what you truly want. It's not gonna be easy.
No, I think, and that's why I think the whole part of us talking about balance comes into play, because it's not easy, and we have to understand it is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And even if you are working 9-to-5, shout out to the 9-to-5 workers, because it's not easy going to a job every day, whether you love it corporate or not, and you're working within a company within their confines. That isn't always easy. You're going to have to do things that could put you outside of your comfort zone. You're going to have to push, and look at that as you're learning something. Because if you're willing to get outside your comfort zone for a job that is paying you, why are you still looking to push yourself outside your comfort zone for something that feeds you in other ways? Is that really something that you looked into, right? Because we talked about taking the things you learned from your 9-to-5 and applying them to other places, right? Like the currency in which you keep doesn't necessarily always have to be money from your job. And that's where
knowledge. It can be knowledge.
It can be knowledge. Yeah. It can be knowledge. But believe me, plenty of the things I've learned from many jobs I've had. I was in banking for 9 years. I did some project management, some customer relationship work. With the railroad. Big shout out to all my locomotive engineers out there. You realize you take away a little bit from each piece. You take a gem from each that can contribute to where you want to go. And even in those jobs, that's the interesting thing. Even in the job, right? A 9-to-5 job. How much balance is there? Do we look at that as a standard of balance, though?
Wow. I think a lot of people do.
Honestly. Yeah, right? I think it's just a standard we've established. Who was it? Henry Ford created the 40-hour work week. Yeah. Smart man. He wasn't the inventor of the car, but he invented how to do mass production. Yeah. So look at Elon Musk. Same thing with electric cars. So it's you literally have to say to yourself, why is this my standard? Where am I getting this sense of balance from? What does balance look like for me? Does it matter the same way that it matters to other? Because I think, and honestly, when you find something that you want to push towards, the balance in which you seek is going to seem irregular to the rest of the world and the people around you. Like, yeah, most people say, Chris, you're crazy. 12 to 16-hour work days, 6-7 days a week. Nuts. Yeah, but the things I want are going to be different than you. And it's not even a brag. I think I respect somebody that's like, yo, I can get done what I need to get done in 8 hours. Bro, get it done.
And
That's what
like,
I'm talking
and
about.
also to add, like we talked about, man, the universe, God, whoever you believe in or whoever you pray to, will not give you anything that you can't handle. So
Mm.
a lot of people complain about working 16 hours a day or 16 hours a week. Not 6 hours a day is crazy, but
16 hours a day?
yeah, I just said wait,
Yeah, it is crazy.
yeah, I
16
just said
hours a week, then
16 hours a
that's a
week.
part-time job.
My bad,
It's
yeah.
not bad.
So yeah,
But for
so
somebody, that may be the balance, right?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So for some people, that's the norm, right? For some people, might look at that as crazy, but that's just because the universe hasn't put that in front of you yet. You might be in that position soon.
Oh, see, now you're getting to
So
a good point
yeah,
that I'm glad you made. I'm
Yeah.
glad you made that point. I often talk to my brother Tyson about that. When you ask the universe for something, be prepared for when they give it to you. Because we often think that success comes easy. We look on TV, we see the glory of being rich and famous and good in your field. I'm going to say rich and famous. I'm going to say proficient in your area of expertise. And you're going to say, man, look, they make it look flawless. But I don't think we look at how much work it takes in that. I don't think we look at how much effort, how much time, and how much work it takes to dial in and being an expert at something. I think we have to really be honest with ourselves. Like, we're good at school because we go through it. Kindergarten through 12th grade, and then after that you have college, secondary schools. Some people get their masters and doctorates. The longer you engage in something, the better you're going to get. Wholeheartedly. What you put your time towards is what is going to dictate the outcome at the end of your day. And we have to be honest with ourselves with how much time we're putting in, how much effort we're putting in, how much focus we put into it, and if we are putting enough to get the results in which you desire. And be okay with whatever that looks like. And see, the point you made about how it's going to feel, right? What that balance looks like. Because let's be real here. If I was given the opportunities I have now a year ago, I don't know if I would succeed. I don't know if I'd be able to take full advantage. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with saying the things I'm getting now are here because of where I work to get towards it. If I want more, I got to be willing to put in more work to be better, to get better. And how much work I put in and how much time I put in is going to dictate how soon those things come. So, I mean, it boils down into the focus. Because people see Elon Musk and they see everything he's doing, his controversy or not, and they're like, this man's pretty wild. Like, he can't work this much. And they're like, well, he doesn't even do certain things because he thinks that they can be cool, but he won't put in effort and extracurricular activities because he thinks he can put his energy towards something better for humanity. Okay. Is that a bad thing? I don't necessarily know. I mean, it'd be hard for me to sit here and say, you have to have fun. Naturally, your body will crave fun. Like, I think
it's easier to have fun.
Yeah, I think we don't talk about that enough.
Like how easy it is to just drift off and go party when everybody else is partying.
Ooh.
You know, go hang out when everybody else is hanging out. But
yeah, when
it comes down to actually putting time into your craft, it's harder to do because you know it's gonna be uncomfortable. Right? It's gonna be hard trying to build something and you ain't got no finances or no people backing you.
Yeah.
So I understand why a lot of people, they might come out of their job and instead of putting that money towards actually building what you want outside of your 9 to 5, right? You putting it into the club, you putting it into going out because it's easier to do.
But what if somebody just wants to enjoy those things? For example, what if someone has a 9 to 5 in a field they love, pays their bills, they make enough money to enjoy their life how they feel? Is that necessarily a bad thing?
It's not. I mean, I would say it's not if you're a person that has no plan on building legacy, or if you don't plan on actually because it's different. Like I said, it's different for everybody. So I can't gauge that too much. But I would say, like, if you're a person that you don't have no clear plan or goals of where you actually want to be, where you want your family to be, then okay. But
so
everybody's different. You know?
I think that is different for everybody because there's means of contributing to high levels of success in this world that don't necessarily mean that you're doing it individually. You be a major contributor. And the first thing that comes to mind when I think of major contributions for one goal is F1 racing teams.
Okay.
They have tons of engineers, tons of crew, tons of people that make everything possible for the one driver in the one car to participate in that one race at the weekend. And the amount of passion, love, and energy that these people put in to their craft to win a car race at the highest level we have is astonishing.
Yeah.
It goes to show what you can accomplish as a team. And I think when it comes down to that, we often think of needing to build on our own even. And that's another area of balance, right?
Yeah.
Like doing it alone versus doing it with a team.
Yeah.
Like, I'm being real with y'all. How many of y'all out there have ever said, you know, I'm just going to go do this by myself. I'm going to go get it done by myself. And you get there by yourself and you realize it's almost impossible.
Yeah. You need people.
Yeah, because to scale up, you're going to need a team. I need a team. Shoot, I have a whole team behind me.
Yeah.
I got my whole family behind me helping out with a lot of things like that. I got people on all levels. There are people above me that I'm learning from and growing with. There's people that I'm mentoring and trying to bring them up. It's a whole team to kind of make the boat move. But we do glorify the sense of independence, though. We glorify the sense of independence when it comes to balance and bringing things in life. But I think you need a team, man. And I know we were talking about some balance stuff earlier.
Balance.
About relationships and energy and where you're coming from, because I think we don't talk about it enough. So we're going to get away from the work piece because we talked about balance in work. I think that's cool. Now we're going to move on to balance at home. This is something that my mind and my perception has changed vastly throughout my experiences in my life. I used to be, growing up, and even till recently, I used to be a firm believer that you need two people in the house that's willing to grind, willing to work, willing to put towards a business to make things grow. That will work in certain instances. But the minute that you're building a family, nah. There's too many roles. It makes it a little bit different. You can still do that, but guess what you're going to need? You're going to need a team behind you. You're going to need a team behind you.
Somebody watch the kids.
Thank you. Who's going to change the diapers? Who's going to cook the food?
Hey, who's going to cook the food, man?
Like, you don't realize it's a whole team.
Right.
There's roles to be
Even
filled.
if y'all taking turns, man, somebody's got to do it, you know?
See, now I'm going to go into the question.
Hey, man, say, man.
It's a bit of controversy. We have a lot of beliefs in America that the man must be the breadwinner. Do you think there is a time, or should it be okay for a man to take on a role in a household that's not the breadwinner, but more or less taking care of the business at home?
I would say, honestly, I wouldn't. I'd say yeah.
Okay.
I'd say yeah because you got to understand, like, as a man anyway, you should know how to wash dishes. You should know how to cook, right?
Be self-sufficient.
And then on top of that, we teach if you want to be real, right? We teach the women that we're with how to love us.
Ooh.
So if you're not cooking, if you're not washing dishes, why should she wash the dishes?
Why should she wash the dishes?
You know what I'm saying? I'm just being real. And
let's go. Let's go.
So if you're not doing those things, if you're not cleaning your house, why should she clean the house? Simple as that.
Yeah.
Be the man. You be the man that you want your woman to wait. Pause. Pause.
No. Finish it.
Yeah, you be the man that you want your woman to mirror, if that makes sense.
I think you're saying embody the behaviors in which you want your spouse to have as well.
You got the words, but
yeah, no, I get it. I think we lose that in the sense of we think everything has to be one way, right? And and I think that boils across cultures, not just and everything, right? Where some cultures, the men are more the leader in the house. They go to work, they come home. When they come home, the women, it makes sure they're good, taking care of the household, the kids, the food. Put your feet up. You worked a hard day. I'm gonna take care of you now. And then there's other cultures where the women go out and build everything, and the man stays home. Even in nature, right? Penguins. The women, I believe, have the children. The man is the one that nurtures it and keeps it warm in the cold. If I'm getting that right, let me know in the comments below if I got it wrong. But basically, understanding that there's roles to be taken
Yeah.
in the relationship and what you want to build. Because especially if you're starting to build, now I'm not telling you that everyone needs to be in an old school household where the woman stays home and takes care of the kids and cooks and clean and the man goes out and get the money. I don't think we live in a world that's a realistic goal for everyone, especially in the average household. I think now you need a 2-income household to kind of get to where you want to be. And even then it's not enough. But I think if you're on the same goal, same path, have the same ideas in which you want to accomplish, you're going to find where the roles lie, right? But I think that's a point of life, period.
I think even when it comes to roles, right? The only reason why a lot of these roles that we look down upon now, a lot of the reasons why these roles don't tend to work like how they used to is because I feel like everybody gets caught up in chasing like their goals, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't chase your goals. Everybody, if you got goals, chase them, right? Reach for the stars. But I think we get so caught up in forgetting family values and forgetting, ourselves that we get caught up in this, oh, I'm not going to do this because this is what the media said. I'm not going to submit to you. And
yeah, there's
stuff, so.
There seems to be a lot of push towards the individualism of life and living an individualistic lifestyle, which I don't think is bad. I think you should learn to be independent, but also understand that needing people is a thing. It's a normality of life, right? Like even in nature, animals, we're herd animals. Mammals are herd animals. Dolphins, whales, packs, wolves. We are mammals. We are herd animals with it. And I think that if you can get a better understanding of that and understand where your role is, you'll have a lot better time.
Yeah.
Because I've learned that with everything I do in life, you can't do everything. And 2, even if you try to do everything, you're going to get burnt out. You're going to get tired, and you won't go as far. So, even I bring it back to balance, even in the workplace. Like I have an amazing team I work with. Big shout out to my team.
Big shout outs.
Basically, starting to work with my team, I had a defined outline of what their roles and responsibilities would be. And after about a year of observing them, observing the job, I stopped saying, I need you to fit this mold. And I started saying, what do you want to do? And the minute I saw that, like I would say to them,
That Gary Vee mindset.
Yeah, it is a Gary Vee. I guess it is a Gary Vee mindset where it was more important for me to get you to do what you like to do on a daily basis and more of it than to get you to fill a bucket. Because at the end of the day, we all have to do paperwork. But I think if you're willing to do paperwork and those small things that can be tedious and involve something you love, you're a lot more inclined to do it. So like a year in now, at least three members of my team are locked in doing stuff they love, and they're doing well at it. And we're just trying to get everybody on the team locked in, and it's literally what I push on. Like, what do you want to do? I'm okay to saying, hey, what is it you want to do? What do you like? How can I put you in a place to do more of that? Does that align with what we're doing here? Cool. Rock out. By the way, I need you to do these other 2 things because it supports that. And it literally helps have a better workplace, a better environment, and everyone works harder. Like I've never had people that hit me up after hours showing me pictures of things they've done. Coming in early to take care of responsibilities that they don't have to take care of. It just aligns with what they want to do. But they wouldn't do that if I didn't allow them to be in a place or embrace them wanting to be in a place, found their passions in that point. Yeah. Like, really think about it. How far along in this world could we be if we created a system where you had time to find what it is you were passionate about, time to learn the skills needed to be proficient in it, and then got put in position to do it? Yeah. Think how much greatness we would have. Because, look at some of the work. Look at NASA.
Yo.
I don't know too many people that work for NASA that are like, yo, this is trash. When you hear about them, they love it. I love space. I love aerodynamics. I love aerospace. Yo, this is it right here. Yeah. And not everyone can do it, but rightfully so. You're sending millions of dollars worth of equipment into space, bro. Like, you got to put in that work. But I don't know if we allow people that grace and that space to do it, especially at a young age. And we'll get to that balance piece, right? Because when you're a young kid, no, think about it. When you're a young kid, when you're a young kid, usually when we're young, we don't necessarily know what we want to do, right? We don't necessarily have an inkling of our passions yet. We're curious. We want to learn. We want to explore, and as you should.
I mean, I think honestly, I think as kids we know.
Okay.
Like, believe it or not, I think a lot of kids usually know what drives them or what they want to do. What ends up happening though through their parents past and traumas and in school, right? We take them away from that natural and that instinct to want to create. We take them away from what they were already creative at, or what they were already.
So we pull them away from what their purpose is to put them into the system we've created.
Exactly. And then we push them into this world where it's like now they got to figure it out all over again.
Because now we're telling you what it is you like, you can't do.
Yeah.
AJ,
we
could
go deep. That's
trash.
What is that?
That sucks. That sucks. He's like, what
Psychology
is that?
101?
What is that? Psychology?
Psychology 101?
No, I don't know if he would label that as psychology. I think he would. That's a side effect of the system we created, right?
Yeah.
Everything in which we embark on this world has been labeled, deemed, or come from man, has been built, right? Even if the idea comes from the universe, man has to physically bring it to life somehow. Whatever help we get outside of ourselves is unbeknownst. But from what we know, a man has to create these things. So if the system we have of the 9-to-5 job, of the economy in which we hold in, and the way it's mainly structured is a mass belief, it's because someone put it in place and be ordered to that. So, yeah, I guess if a kid, but my thing is, like, can you know what your purpose is if you've never been exposed to it?
Hey, believe in past lives?
So, like, could you ask a 10-year-old, like, what do you want to do with your life? And he'll say this without ever being exposed to it?
I feel like you wouldn't have to really ask him. You could, like, if there was like a system, right, that you can have at home with like your child and see what he's connected to. Because most children, I don't think as adults, because most of the time we get tied up into our own things, right? Our parents worked, they were out, trying to make ends meet. So they don't really have time to actually sit with the kid. They might have moments where they're, okay, let's go to the park.
Oh, wow. So you're saying if the parent, so more or less us showing children different facets and activities of life is us learning what they like, not them in return, because they've already got it locked in. And the minute they see it, their brain kind of sets off a trigger of emotional response. Yeah. And then it's our job to receive that, to then say, okay, that's the thing that he locks in on. I now need to provide them an environment to actually flourish in this.
That. Yeah.
Wow.
It's like
that
watching a kid.
A bit heavy.
You ever seen a kid, like a young kid, just pick up crowns and just draw?
How you gonna walk past that statement you just made?
Oh, my bad.
I mean, like, how you gonna just walk past that entire statement you just made, talking about? Well, yeah, because the universe feeds these kids these things, and we just have to figure it out. Okay, don't walk. No, you're not walking past that.
Yeah. Okay, let's go back to it, man.
But I get what you're saying, though. That's just a little heavy because it takes a control. Again, it takes that control outside of the parental hands. And that's heavy to do. But I think it's important to listen to our children, listen to the youth to understand that they know what they want and give them the space and time to develop in it. Because I'll be real, I hear a lot of kids that don't feel like they're gaining value from high school. I haven't met so many high school kids that are super creative that were like, yo, I love it here. I mean, there are schools that embody that.
I hated school.
But so you say you hated school. What about it did you hate?
I hated how everything was. It felt like it just felt. I don't know. I felt trapped. If that makes sense. Like I felt trapped. And then even when I was doing super good in school, it's like, why am I doing this?
So you didn't see the value, the ends to. You didn't see a means to an end at the school.
Other than like me talking to people and communicating. I didn't really find any real value in school.
So did you? Okay. Because I've gotten that. I was the same way for a while. School was easy to me, so I didn't necessarily need value. I just knew I liked getting good grades, and I got rewarded for it. It wasn't until college I realized that what you take away from school is not necessarily what you learn in the books, but the behaviors in which you enact. So remember how we talked about being able to teach yourself things to do well in your craft? you go to school, you're practicing learning from someone instructing you, whether it's by watching, reading, listening, or speaking. You're learning something.
Yeah.
When it comes for you to freely and independently start learning about something you're passionate about, you have to be willing to do that on your own accord.
Now it's harder to do.
And it becomes harder to do if you haven't practiced and used that muscle of learning and understanding how you learn that school should be teaching you. So that's where I say find your niche in whatever it is you're learning and dive in fully. If you're reading history books, if you're doing math, quantum physics, whatever it may be, find how it relates to something within you and within your purpose, and then dive in when it comes to school. Because it's what you take away from the learning experience that you're going to carry for the rest of your life, not necessarily what you read in the book.
Wow. Yeah.
Right? Like, physics teaches you how to understand how the world works, how things move, how things react, right? Math allows you ways of looking at equations in different ways and then seeing what tools you can apply to solve a problem. I think I'm talking about calculus, but it holds true. It holds true. Learning about history and geography is understanding events and purpose and people and relations, right? And what happens. So there's something to take away from education. You just have to be willing to sit there and say, what is this really teaching me? This is what I'm saying. Dive into more than just what's on the surface. Dive into more than just what's on the surface of everything. If you're a bank teller and your boss says you need to ask people if they have a credit card or a savings account, you're learning how to do sales. You're learning how to uncover need. Well, how is that going to help me in life? Okay, give me a job that you think doesn't need to be able to uncover needs and do sales.
It's literally every job.
Everything, right? If you're a singer,
every job I worked, I had to sell something.
Absolutely. And
I
if
was
you're
in a bakery, I had to sell cakes. I was in sales, literally had to sell cable.
Yeah.
In retail, I had to sell credit cards.
So
selling something, like you selling
you
something
are
at every job.
I mean, even with this show, I'm selling you guys something. Even though
corporate.
I'm sitting in here and I'm just talking to you, sharing our thoughts, like I'm selling you our show to listen to. Hopefully you like it. The reason why I wanted to look this way and have these lights and this type of set is because I want to have a presentation that says, hey, maybe it's interesting, right? I mean, it's not to say that I don't care about this. I don't love what I'm doing. I'm not passionate about this. But let's be real here. To be good, you have to take it seriously and you need to be able to sell.
Yeah.
Like if you make an amazing, amazing movie that looks amazing and you can't sell it to a crowd to come see it and you make no money, like it's great that you made that thing and money shouldn't be the end all be all, but I'm a firm believer art is meant to be seen.
That's a fact.
If you want people to see it, you have to be willing to sell it a little bit.
Yep.
That's it. That's it. Don't be afraid. We often say we don't want to sell out. So don't sell out. Just sell you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
Don't sell out. Sell you.
Sell you. Yeah.
Sell you, man. Big shout out to
You don't got to put no contracts in it, man. Just sell you.
Earn Your Leisure made a statement that the reason why they succeeded where they were is because they didn't have to change who they were to succeed and be who they wanted to be. And growing up, believe me, I went through that. Try to fit in rooms, try to talk with certain people, try to move certain ways. But if you can 100% be you and learn to be confident in you and sell who you are in that manner, go for it. Go for it. If they don't like you, it's not meant for you. Think about that. Would you want to date somebody that liked you for the character you pretended to be?
Hell no.
You're going to end up hating yourself. You're going to hate that life. It's not your life. It's not your life. Imagine waking up being with somebody, and the only way that they could be happy is if you be somebody in which they like, but you don't like to be.
Exactly. You getting your hair dyed and shit because they like it.
Bro.
You ever had a moment like that where?
No, I don't. I've never dyed my hair for a woman ever. I mean, you want to share that?
Oh no.
Okay, no. I mean, the worst thing I've ever. The one time I did something to.
I did dye my hair though.
What did I do? I remember the first time I ever did something like that. I was in high school. This girl I liked SpongeBob. So I worked at Target. So I went to Target that weekend and bought 2 SpongeBob shirts.
Yo.
Why? like I literally bought 2 SpongeBob shirts, and like I was like, I didn't need to do that. Like, but I didn't feel as if I was good enough just being myself for this girl to like me. Which kind of fact wasn't even true. Like a lot of girls liked me, I didn't even know. Being oblivious, mostly men are at that age.
That's a fact.
But it boils down to like I even if that girl was like, oh my God, Chris is so cool, we got a SpongeBob shirt. Saying this now sounds so stupid. Like sounds so ridiculous.
The word is cringy.
Yes. Oh, it's so bad. I don't turn the camera off. No, don't look at me. But yeah, even if she liked me because of the shirt, why would I even want to be with her at that point? Because of a shirt? Nah. Keep yourself together. Be clean.
Yeah.
Don't do all that, man. Keep yourself in good shape. Take care of yourself. You do it for happy for you. But it's wild, man. I don't know. I didn't realize how far we got on that subject, but I guess it is balance. True balance. That's an interesting piece.
I like that last piece though with the shirt, because it's like when you go out of your way to be somebody for someone else, that's when you're going out of balance.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point, right? Like if center is the equal energies of which you hold within yourself, right? And then you have to take yourself out of that to be open to new experiences, but then you're completely diminishing the experiences of who you naturally are for the openness. Yep. You're not being yourself. Mm-hmm. And I think we kind of confuse that with our willingness to be uncomfortable, right? Because we could say to somebody, and you probably heard in relationships, they try to change me. Oh, yeah. They try to make me into something else. Yeah. And I think it's okay to change as long as it doesn't affect your morals and your values. Like, is this person pushing you to be healthier? I mean, it's not a bad thing. Yeah. Are they pushing you to chase your dreams when you kind of just don't want to go work on them? Maybe it's not a bad thing. So I think coming out of balance with where you're comfortable may be okay, but you don't need to shy away from your values for that to a little bit. And see, now the thing is, can your values change through experiences? Because that's going to be a big piece to me, where your values are going to change. Yeah. The more you learn, the more you
age and wisdom and just everything. Yeah.
Seriously, the things I value now are so different than what I value when I was younger. When I was younger, I thought working hard when you were younger was just being busy all the time. And then I'll never forget a line that Denzel Washington said. You could run in place. Like, and that's something where I think we don't think about in our daily lives is like, is the energy and movement I'm trying to push actually getting me to where I want to be, or am I just busy for the sake of being busy?
That's wow. Yep.
I'm just saying you can there's many jobs out there where you're putting out the same fire every day and no one walks up to you and says, "Hey, why does that fire keep popping up? Why not work on the root cause? Stop running in place. Why not?" I'm like I've been in that position in my life where I'm running around doing stuff and I feel good because it makes me feel needed, makes me feel important, but then I'm not solving anything. Yeah. I'm enabling this to continuously happen because it's a continuous loop of feeding me. It's a waste of my time. And when you're okay with saying, like, all right, solve this, let's look deeper. I don't need to keep chasing this, because eventually you're going to get to the point where you're burnt out and you're tired of that chase. And you're going to be like, well, I'm tired because the scenery's not changing. But if you can kind of say to yourself, like, hey, I know we always did it this way and it keeps this problem at bay, but why does that problem keep happening? Let's address that. And then we could try to make some movement. We can grow into another place. In everything in your life, whether that's with a spouse, whether that's with kids, whether it's with family, friends, a job, if you keep having the same problem over and over, looking to see why the problems happen and then address it.
And address it. Yep. Simple as that.
Because like you say, you're gonna be off balance. Because you're fighting something, it's leaning that way, and you leaning that way, and this keep happening, so you keep pushing, but nobody's balancing out. Sometimes you gotta look at it and see what really is happening, man.
Hey, and then going back even right after that, like going back to the point with the kid, right? You have a kid, right? Say if you haven't as a parent taken that time to find out what's going on in your life, and you bring a kid along, now that kid picks up on where you left off pretty much, and now it's like a whole another thing that you got to think about now.
So you're talking more like the what they call the generational traumas and
Generational curses
and the things that which you pass down in youth. And I think even on that note, balance as a parent and a guardian is a hard thing to understand.
True.
Right? Because think about this, right? You now have someone you're in charge and taking care of. You're guiding through the world. You're teaching, and you haven't had enough time for yourself to continue to develop. Are you doing a disservice to the youth by taking time for yourself to continue your development process, but it's time away from the youth? Or are you doing a disservice by giving them all your time and not giving yourself enough time to pour into yourself?
Wow. That's a deep one.
Because that's where we could just be running in place.
Yeah.
Putting out that same fire. Why? Because my kid's lazy. My kid won't get up. My kid's not driven anymore.
But what you do today?
But yeah, what have you set the example for them? You know, my kid's talented. I want them to go after their dreams. But you working at 9 to 5 though. What's the example? And it's not easy. I really want to instill this. I want to instill this so much. Progressing towards your dreams is the hardest thing you will do.
Yeah.
But it is also the most fulfilling. Taking an easy route will feel okay now because it's less work, but emotionally it will drain you completely and you will regret it. Even if what you want is a different job, go get it. If what you want is to progress in your company, go get it. You want to be in better shape, go get it. You want to have some type of hobby, go get it. You want more friends, go get them. Like, whatever it is, be willing to put in that work. And I think as parents, you got to set that example for your kid, even if it's difficult. Bring them along. I'm saying this from my life because a lot of what I learned came from my mother. A lot of what I learned came from my father. Like, I remember being 8 years old and, like, help my dad with his restaurant. I'll never forget that feeling of he had a red or like burgundy, some type of red burgundy Chrysler van, bro. This is way back in the day, way beyond your time, bro. And we used to go to Costco
Young boy.
and fill his car up with soda and things he needed for his restaurant. Or Price Club, it was called, or something. And bring it back to the restaurant and stack everything up, take inventory. And I used to watch him cook, making the fish. He used to let me make the cornbread and set the place setting. And my sister used to be the waitress and stuff sometimes. And, like, when I look at that, I'm like, oh, so this whole business thing, entrepreneur thing really is possible. So it puts me in a fearless place to go after it. My dad worked in a corporate environment. So he was on both sides. My mom worked corporate environments. So I understand it. It's asking yourself, what are you giving to your child to show them? So even if it requires you to take a little bit more time for yourself, maybe that's going to contribute to a better balance.
Yeah. That's true. Very true.
Maybe it is, man. It's hard. It's hard because you want to pour in. And time is of the essence. But be willing to find that your balance towards building yourself up to give them an example of what it looks like. You want your kid to be free? Go be free. And I don't mean run around a club. I mean
facts.
Go outside. It means build by yourself.
Yeah, build, man. Build
But that you gotta really ask yourself those questions. Ain't nothing wrong with the club. Spent many of my years in those fun places doing my thing. But yeah, man, ask yourself if you put an example to live, and if you need to pull back a little bit of time for yourself for that build and put it out there, man. You can find a way, and it's going to lead me to something I want to talk about that kind of rang true with that. Efficiency should be the new key you're searching for, not just organization. Anybody can fill up a planner, but it takes real work to become efficient at what you do to gain your time back.
Mm. Wow. Hold on. Bars? Come on.
Bars.
Bars.
Now we need the soundboard too.
Oh God, it's on there.
Oh,
It's
is it?
on there. Don't press it. I don't even know what they are. I don't even want to look at it.
I'm
next
gonna press
time.
it and the whole thing shut down.
Just don't press record again, bro. Green means stop, please. But yeah, efficiency, man. I think efficiency should be the new hot thing.
Yeah.
I think we need to stop looking for just being organized. If you organize should be, don't get me wrong, organization should be your first level of accomplishments. Getting yourself organized. The minute you get organized, you can see what's taking up the most of your time. And then start looking at your processes for each of those things that take up your time and say, how can I be more efficient in this? The minute you could do that, you'll start gaining some of your time back. And that allow you to put more time into something that can progress you a little bit quicker. You can say to yourself, will I do better in this by putting more time into X, Y, or Z? And then if you really don't know, just try. Life is an experiment. If you mess up, okay, I wasted a few hours. I now know that's not taking me where I want to be. Let's try the next.
Yeah.
Go from there and then keep practicing it. And that literally will help you with your workflow to get to the level of efficiency you want to be proficient and to be successful towards whatever it is you're trying to do in life.
That's real. That is real. As especially being somebody that just started getting into really using the planner, and my girlfriend uses the planner a lot.
Yes.
She plans a lot, and yeah, that's real, because it's like you can write down your goals and plan out your days, but how efficient are you at actually making sure that you get those done, and how exactly you get those done?
Yeah.
It's important. So
Yeah.
that's super. Yeah, that's real.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. I think we can push further. We can push harder. We can do more. I just think we need to be willing. Be willing to learn and grow and say I was doing something that wasn't working. You will learn and grow, man.
I think a lot of the times too, we don't like to be real with ourselves.
Oh,
We like to. I feel as if a lot of people, even me being there, because I'm not gonna, X myself out as well. But I've definitely been in I've been in the room with myself, just lying to myself, like, oh, I did this, or I'm busy.
yeah, try and get that good feeling going.
Trying to get that good feeling.
Yep.
Like, oh yeah, I'm busy, I'm doing this, and then really I was just sitting there just on Instagram or watching TV.
Scrolling the gram, giving out
And I don't
likes.
even really scroll Instagram, but I use that as an example.
Giving out the likes.
Yeah, just sitting there. And
You
even
get
if
a
I'm not
like,
scrolling
you get a
Instagram,
like.
I'm on YouTube watching videos I know I shouldn't be watching. Entertainment.
Bro, do you want to
So,
know that's how I got
yeah.
started into really pursuing my hobbies?
Yeah.
I caught myself watching a YouTuber's Instagram every night.
Yeah.
This man's is laughing at me. I'm okay with it. It taught me a lesson. No lie. I'm serious. I was watching his YouTube channel is Ricer Miata. His name is Chris Rudnick. Big shout out to him. Huge car channel. He's now into drifting. He builds tons of different cars. His channel has progressed so much over time watching him. Like, super proud of you, bro. Amazing work. Hopefully to meet with you one day. I have met him at a drift event.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, he was really cool.
Okay.
Didn't get to meet him personally and do everything yet, but hopefully I'll meet him soon. But yeah, I was watching his videos every single night. And in the beginning, I was excited to watch him and see what he was progressing because it was enjoyable. But I realized, like, I got into this channel because he was doing things I liked. And now I'm stuck watching his channel because he's doing the things I want to do, but don't. And so I said to myself, if he could do this, why can't I? He literally shared a story. He was like, he went down a list of all the cars he owned and how he got them. He's like, I've had well over 30 cars, and he named them all. And he was like, my first car I got for $500. I was working at a Subway, and I took my whole paycheck and bought this car. And like I said, this dude didn't care. This dude was down for the cause. And he was determined to be in that place of having a car, modifying it, and building to his spec, to the point now he's got a huge, amazing garage. Like, why can't I? And I think we said that last time, right? Why can't I? Why can't I? And so that kind of got me to that place where I was like, all right, let's go. let's go. And I bought cars I liked. I built them out. I bought the parts. Had amazing cars. And when I was done with them, I sold them. And I'd do it again. And it was just the fun of putting them together and building them and selling them to somebody that was enjoying them. But it just goes to show you can really do it. And you can find a way if you want to be in that space. And it's going to nudge the needle of where your balance lies. Just be prepared for that. Be okay with that and realize that it's what's needed to get to where you want to be. So, my guy,
Crunch time.
Another great show in the books. Ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
Always happy for you guys tuning in. If you stuck with us this far, of course, I'm going to ask you to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, share with a friend.
Share, man.
Post it on Instagram,
It's
YouTube,
free.
Twitter, X.
It's free.
Shoot the episode to anybody you like because these are going to be dimes and gems. A couple years later, when you guys are scrolling back to my early episodes to see what we were like before we hit the big studios. But, yeah, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. AJ, as always, thank you for being a producer on the show.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Keeping everything together. And like always, everybody, it's nothing but love. Peace.
Until next time. To be continued.